Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another Am I the Jerk episode. As most of you may know, it is about that time for the holiday season, which means people are either going to be super happy and friendly to one another, or it's time to crank up the Ebenezer Scrooge to about 1000, because we are back with some holiday themed Am I the Jerk episodes. I hope all of y'all have been enjoying the new episodes. If you haven't just watched the whole hour-long Five Nights at Freddy's video, go check that out. I spent a lot of time working on it and I'm pretty happy about it. But enough of the self-promotion, it's time for another Am I the Jerk episode. Story number 1, as you all know, we go into these blind so I get my first reactions at the same time as you. But story number 1, am I the jerk for not buying the same gifts for my step-grandchildren? You know what they say, no love for the ugly stepchildren. My son has a 14-year-old daughter, Clara, and a 15-year-old stepdaughter. My son doesn't have a good financial situation, and while they do their best, they can only afford necessities. Understandable. A few days ago, Clara was visiting us and we were talking. I asked her about school and she told me that she is having a lot of problems because she needs a computer for some of her homework, and she needs to visit the library, that is far away from their house, to do her homework. Also, kids are making fun of her for not having a phone. Ha! Imagine being poor! As a grandmother, I can't just step aside and watch my granddaughter struggle, so even though we, ourselves, don't have a very good financial situation, we use some of our savings to buy a MacBook, phone, headphones, and a few school supplies for her, and she was obviously very happy when she received our gifts. However, this has caused problems because my DIL, daughter-in-law, is mad that we didn't do the same for her daughter. We told her that instead of getting upset, she can ask her child's grandparents to buy things for her, and she called us jerks. My son informed me that she was trying to get Clara to share, but they have been refusing to do so. Oh dear God. You know, when I said nobody loves the ugly stepchild, that was a joke. Yes, you are absolutely the jerk here. You think just because you have no biological relation to that child that you serve no purpose to them? Like, Christmas is coming up. I don't serve any type of biological relation to my girlfriend's brother, but I would do anything for that kid. And just because I don't have any relation to him, do I have to tell him that he's got to go talk to his other sister's significant other? Nah, I'm gonna be that guy. So just because you're not related to them biologically doesn't mean that you can't just give them nice things. And it hurts even more when you give one of the children a MacBook, headphones, and a phone. Like, what are you doing? This is like, yes, this is jerk mode to the extreme. Instant banishment, off the island, go to Snake Island. On to story number 2. Am I the jerk for telling my dad it's not my job to make sure my half siblings have a mom? Where is this one going? My parents divorced when I was 5, 17 male. I'm not sure why. Part of me has always figured dad cheated on mom because he was with someone suspiciously fast afterward, like the same month fast. But my mom never spoke about it. She just told me both she and dad loved me and that would never change, and I would never have to choose between my parents. My dad was in 2 live-in relationships post-divorce. When I was 7, he was with Jen, who had Luna, 9, with her, and then when I was 10, he was with Bree, who had Harry, 7, with her. Jen and Bree both stopped being moms to their kids, and so my dad became a single full-time parent to my half-siblings. From that point onward, my dad has tried to convince mom she should step up and at least fill some kind of female role model relationship with them. He also corrects me on the half-siblings term and says that we're just siblings, and if I were to call them just my siblings, it might soften mom's heart to being a female or maternal figure for them. Come on, just lie to mom. I'm sure that's not what caused the divorce in the first place. He would ask my mom on behalf to let me have my half-siblings over to her house during her custody time. My parents share equal time with me. He would claim I really missed my half-siblings when I was gone, and he would claim I wanted to spend every holiday with them, etc. None of this is true. I never said those things or implied them. Luna is having a really hard time having no female family members. She has a dad, 2 half-brothers, and an uncle. So dad has been more forceful about mom's part in all of this lately, and now he's trying to rope me in more. He sat me down recently and told me my half-siblings deserve to have moms, and I couldn't help them with that. I could share my mom and let them feel the love they deserve to feel. He said, I've always treated them like lesser siblings. First, with always using half, and then with not trying to include them in my life at my mom's house. He told me this is where my role as a big brother needs to really take off. In response, I told him it's not my job and has never been my job to provide my half-siblings with a mom. I told him it was on him and their actual moms to do that, and I told him that it was sick how he kept trying to rope my mom in. I told him to accept that he only had one kid with my mom and she has only obligated to take care of me. His answer to that was I was disappointing him with both my response and lack of concern for the overall well-being of my half-siblings, and he told me to do better, be better, and care more about my innocent little siblings. I told my mom about it and she tore down a new one for putting this on me. She told me I am not wrong in what I said to him, but my uncle also said I could have more compassion for my innocent half-siblings. Am I the jerk? No, this guy is in no way the jerk. You're asking your 17-year-old son to force his mom to be a mom to the 2 children that you had with other women? Bro, Dad, look, you have to understand. When you have children with 2 random women, it is no longer the responsibility of the first woman you had children with. It's not like you get to have a child with one woman, go mess around with 2 other women, have 2 kids, and then go back to number 1 and be like, hey, since you were technically my first, you now get to raise the other 2, right? Bro, if you want them to have a mom so bad, why not go for number 4? You've already done it 3 times. What's stopping you now? Is it just because you want to pawn off these kids onto someone else because you no longer want to take care of them? Stop talking about compassion and wanting to help your siblings, and you need to be better. You be better, Dad. Look, you can easily fix this by going out and finding them a mom and doing what you can to try to provide a better life for them. It's not your 17-year-old kid's fault to try to get them to be treated more like siblings. Look, I get it. Maybe the 17-year-old kid can be a little bit more, receptive to the younger kids. I know when I was in a divorced household and I had a stepdad come in, I always acted like a little jerk by saying their family name and the one me, basically saying I didn't associate with that family. I know it kind of makes me seem like a jerk, but that's probably what this kid is going through. He's like, look, these aren't my brothers and sisters. I have absolutely no physical relation to them, so he's probably disassociating himself, and he's 17. It's not his job to take care of your kids. How about you figure out your life, go find them a mom, and stop trying to get your kid to do it. So no, the 17-year-old is not the jerk here, and far and away above, the dad needs to chill out with this whole force your mom to be a mom to my kids type of deal. It ain't happening, dog. The dad's the jerk. OP is not the jerk. Am I the jerk for asking my sister-in-law to stop treating my son as if it's theirs? Interesting. 35 male. My sister-in-law Laura, 33 female, doesn't have a child. She's been through many miscarriages in the past too. Wow, really leading it off heavy. After my wife Madison, 34 female, gave birth to our son Ethan, terrible name, we allowed Laura to interact with him. We dropped him at the house if we wanted someone to babysit, etc. Whenever they came here, she played with him and all that. Seems normal. Yesterday, we dropped him at her place again, and when we arrived, she was playing with them. We just remained there for a while and talked while she played with them. I heard her saying, "Where's your mother? Your mother's right there," referring to herself. Yikes, that's a little weird. I did not like that, and Madison did not either, but it got worse. She said, "And your father's here to play with you as well," referring to her husband Bob, 37 male. I was about to say something as I was shocked, but then I realized how Ethan then called them Mama and Dada for the first time. The first time he's ever said his parents' name, and it wasn't theirs. He'd never called us that before. Madison began to cry a lot while I got furious. I called Laura a demonetized word and asked her what she was thinking to call them that. Her husband got mad and they began to argue, saying that he's as good as their son, etc. Madison accused her of being a demonetized backstabber, and in the end, we took Ethan away from them by asking them not to treat my son as if it was theirs. Laura was crying and her husband was shouting at us while we left. I was wondering whether I overreacted. I know they don't have children, so did I do anything wrong? Am I the jerk? Oh boy, so there's a lot to unpack here. So I want to start off by saying I do feel bad for the sister who continues to have miscarriages. That has to be probably one of the most hard and stressful and just completely earth-shattering moments that someone who's expecting to be a mother can have. And I'm sure that probably messes with them a lot mentally. But at the same time, that doesn't stop you from being a jerk. Like, there's an extent where if you want to, help raise your sibling's child or do things to help them become a better human being, that's fine. But you can't start telling that kid that you're their mother and your husband is their father. Like, if you want to do that, go adopt a kid. Like, there's plenty of places you can go to get a kid. You can go adopt one, you can steal, no, don't, please, whatever you do, don't go steal someone's child. But there's ways that you can do that, and you can be a parent. You don't have to manipulate and try to trick your sibling's young, impressionable child to think that you are their parent, because that's going to mess with that kid so much more or later on in life whenever they start to grow up, whenever they realize that the person who's been raising me, who has been telling me to call them mama and to call this other guy dada, is actually my aunt and uncle. Like, that's gonna create a really weird dynamic, and unless you live in Alabama, this ain't gonna work at all like that. I mean, I'm sure that's how the standard family tree is down there in the good old South, but man, you cannot do that. And I completely understand the sheer anger and bewilderment that hit OP as soon as he heard that, especially as if you're a father and a mother, one of the most rewarding things that you can ever feel in your life is having your child call you mama, call you dada. And it's an unbreakable bond that you form, and you always want to be there for that. That's why people record it all the time and put it on Instagram. It's a big moment. So for your child to call your sister mama and her husband dada, instantly anger levels to 100%. So I think it might have been a little harsh to immediately take off like that and erupt and just be super mad about it, but I understand it at the same time. So in my opinion, the OP is not the jerk here. I think your sister-in-law is really weird. You might want to maybe spend a couple Christmases away from that side of the family, because if they're trying this hard to latch on to your children, maybe that's not a good sign. Like, in the industry business, we call this a red flag. If your family members are trying to manipulate your very young child into thinking that they are their parents, I wouldn't be surprised if the next time you took them over there, they had bags packed and they went on down to Florida or wherever the heck they live at and just started living a life as a whole new family. So I think the OP is not the jerk. I think the sister-in-law has a lot of mental health problems that probably need to be checked out, because that is very, very not good place to be at when you're trying to convince your nephew that you are their parents. And even the husband at that point, what are you doing? You know that this should be wrong. So in my personal opinion, OP is not the jerk, and please, for the love of God, find them some mental health assistance, please, before they go and actually do steal someone's child. And so with that, this has been another episode of Am I the Jerk series. If you are enjoying this, please make sure to leave a like, comment down below. I want to hear your opinions on all of these stories. I want to know whether you think I was wrong, whether you think they were wrong, or whether you think everybody's wrong. I want to hear it in the comments below. If you like it, leave a like. If you also want to subscribe, you can do that too, because I'll be posting these here a lot more frequently. But until next time, make sure you're not the jerk, and I will see you in the next one.